Hello, I'm Pastor Chris Burish from Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, and it is a joy as a pastor to hear about some amazing things going on in the Palos Heights community. And that is really the motivation behind our program, The Community Bridge, to bring news of good things that are going on in the Palos community to you, to help inspire you, to help you find places to get involved, and maybe just help out somebody that you know or yourself that might be in need. It's a blessing today to be with Ryan Phelps and Paige Phelps from the Rise Up Foundation. Thank you for being here today.
We're thrilled to be here.
Yeah, very exciting.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Can you start us off?
Yep, so we've been, Ryan and I are married. We've been married for 7 years. And we have a beautiful daughter, Avenel, who's 4 years old. And then we're also the owners of Southside Knockout. And that's really just a little bit about us.
So tell us a little bit about the Rise Up Foundation. What's it about? How did it get started?
Yeah, so kind of a funny story. It originates with us being at work. One of our members was really close family with us, and it was just for wanting to have a better good of a community. So, you know, just being owners, we've created our own community within our business, and being able to, I would say, touch as many lives as we possibly can in a positive light was just the motivation behind how can we help as many people as possible, maybe not just with health and fitness, but how can we bring this to light in this community?
Well, that's phenomenal. I mean, I've been going to Southside Fitness now for a month, and it is cool to see the community come together and to see you inspired to kind of use that community, assisting in not just ways that are promoting health, but meeting some of those higher needs, especially as people fall on hard times. So what's the structure of the organization? Who's involved? What takes place? How's it organized?
Take that too.
Yeah, so there's 4 of us who operate it. It is Andrew and Allison Cloje, as well as myself and Ryan. And so we really are just kind of at the forefront with it. So starting off a not-for-profit was a lot longer than what we thought. So in the beginning, it was us just kind of funding, us finding families. And being able to find families was actually not as difficult as what we would thought, just because of how much outreach people we know and what have you. But it's really just been phenomenal to be able to, I think, come together as the 4 of us and really try and find our mission with it. Because you see so many different organizations that help out, you know, kids or just families who have gone through maybe cancer or things like that. And we didn't really want to put ourselves in a category. So we just said we really want to help anybody who's been through maybe a tragedy or a tragic event, whether you're younger, older, whatever the case may be. If you were within that community, we wanted to be that helping hand that, you know, you feel like we're on the same block as you, or we go to the same school, right? Or just kind of have that vibe with who we help.
Yeah, very grassroots from a standpoint of just seeing need and trying to address need. So in the relative infancy of the Rise Up Foundation, what are some of the stories that you have of what it's done, how it's made an impact, how you guys have been able to get involved?
We've been fortunate enough to work with a few families since the spring, and just honestly, we feel more like gratitude for the family of what we get from it more than what we give. Yeah. Just the impact that every family, every person that we've encountered really has left a lasting image, an impact on our lives, where we're still in contact with every family that we've met with so far. So I would say that's probably the coolest part of this whole mission, right? Not just making a change for that day or that week, but like hopefully making a life-lasting impact, right? That's our goal with everything that we're doing. I think that probably starts from when we were kids, right? Like we come from giving families, and it's a big mission of the Rise Above Foundation is to leave it better than we found it, right? Leave the world better than we found it. So that's what we really want to do with it all.
Fantastic. So How has that played out? Are there any examples of what it is that you've been able to accomplish or do with the Rise Up Foundation so far? You know, I understand there's a lot of sensitivity in regards to, we don't need to name any particular names, but are there any examples of things that you've been able to do that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah. So I think it's just being a part of how Ryan said this isn't like a one and done of what we do. So with the families that we've been able to work with, and just starting off, it's being able to understand maybe what the family's needs are, just again, because it's just the four of us who essentially are funding it at the moment, just kind of where we're at with the organization. Hopefully soon we'll be able to kind of go into a little bit more of that. But I think it's just being able to be there with them, and even though we may be strangers and you don't know what that family's circumstance is, being another person in somebody's corner. So having those conversations with them, you know, how did the test go? How did this go? How did that go for somebody? And just being another outlet for someone, you really get to grow within that family and understand, okay, well, when we get to this place of where we want the Rise Above Foundation to go, we maybe can, you know, cover a medical bill. We can provide something that would be a cherishable moment for them. And I think that's really what we're trying to do right now, is planting the seed and watching the tree grow with all of these families, if that makes sense.
I love the approach. As a pastor, one of the things that comes up regularly is people will have a traumatic issue, a death, or find out some medical condition, and you'll see people rally around them right away at the beginning, but then 3 months, 4 months later, very quickly they find themselves feeling alone. So to hear the heart and the mission of, no, we want to accompany you from wherever it is that you are to seeing through this issue, that's really inspiring and very wonderful. Paige, you brought up that something around like tests or medical things. So what are some of the crises that individuals who the Rise Up Above Foundation has helped out, what are some of the crises that they've been dealing with?
Yeah, so I would say, you know, we've had people who have, you know, medical conditions that are very rare. We've had people who are going through cancer. We've had people who have experienced death. And I think that's why we didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves, is because the only thing that we can really think about is, you know, in the olden days when you lived on a block with somebody and somebody needed something, everybody helped that person. So that's really where, you know, as Ryan said, we want to instill where we're not just going to be here for that moment. We're going to be here, as well as, you know, grow within that family. We're going to grow within being able to provide for and help that family for whatever the needs are at that moment. So I think that's what's really special about the families, that we were our first families, because it's almost, they get to see us grow. And I really think the beautiful part is every family we have helped, they always ask us, how can we help the organization? And I mean, it can bring tears to your eyes, because you're thinking, that's not even a thought for us when we go and go speak with, you know, the families that we've been able to work with. But I just think that that's just such a genuine reaction, or just makes you feel so happy and full circle to see people just going through that, and their first thing to say is, how can I help?
Like, you know, to make a change, you got to be the change, right? So for all these people, like, they want to help as much as we want to help, but maybe they don't have the outlet to do it. But we can provide that for people, right? So a lot of times we help families through word of mouth, right? So a family that we might have met with last week might have someone else in mind that we can meet with this week or the following week, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and it also speaks to that community of people just coming together to be alongside each other, not necessarily in a dependence model of like, hey, I need something, so the Rise Above Foundation, you guys need to provide for it. But instead, it's much more of like, hey, we're partners in this. I really appreciate the community and the support that the foundation provides, but also I want to continue to be part of that, because it's much beyond that moment of working through trauma.
Right.
So that's really a great model, and it's unique because there's so many other models out there that really are targeted in, well, I'm only going to address this type of thing or that type of thing, It sounds like what the Rise Above Foundation is doing, and kind of the vision is to just be open to, hey, what's going on? What can I get involved with? I mean, as a pastor, I use the analogy of, well, where's God at? So where can I get involved with that?
Right.
But you're seeing a need and just wanting to meet it. So you mentioned that it's your family and the name of the other family that was kind of the founding family.
Andrew and Allison Koloje.
Koloje, right? So how did you guys meet, come in contact with one another?
So that's a funny story. Andrew actually started at one of our gyms as a member close to about 8 years ago now. And we hit it off pretty quickly. We became really close friends. Now Andrew and Allison are two people that we look at as our best friends. We were just on a great vacation, family vacation with each other in the spring, and we had this conversation, Andrew and I, before anything, about really wanting to make an impact, right? Like being great role models again for our kids, for our family, leaving the world better than we found it, and it was pretty cool to go through that whole process where meeting someone at the gym where they were just coming in because they wanted help with their health and fitness, and now we're working together and making an impact on people much larger than just health and fitness related.
Yeah, and I think it's funny to mention, I remember when they were meeting at our house about it, and I was like, well, what if you guys did this? All right, you're in, and then Allison was in, and then I think we all just kind of realized, okay, well, we can all head this together, like this could just be like a unison thing of sharing in what we want to accomplish. So
what a full circle moment. Yeah.
And I think, together, what you just said is like the most important thing, right? Like, we find so much value, whether it's with the Rise Above Foundation or Southside Knockout, or really anything that we're doing, is community matters, right? Who you surround yourself by and like what you're doing, it really makes a huge impact on everything that you can accomplish. So with this thing, we're very fortunate to have, not only Andrew and Allison to help us spearhead this, but as friends, right? Because any day that we're trying to accomplish more, we know we have two other people that are like-minded and want to do the same thing.
Yeah. You brought up your kids in this, and I think that's really cool, from wanting to be an inspiration and set a ground, a kind of a model, or the grassroots for them to see and to get involved. How have you seen that play out, or how is that part of the Rise Above Foundation?
Yeah, I would say, when we go to, like, especially, I wouldn't say the initial time where we go and maybe drop off like a first gift or a first meeting of the family. They're little kids, so they're kind of looking, or they see toys and they're like, ooh, I want to play with toys, so that's kind of their reaction. But I think where it's really special is just when you get to have that follow-up, when you get to see the family again. If they come, they remember, or they see them, and not only are we building a relationship maybe with the other parents or the other adults that are maybe involved in the family, but the kids remembering the kids. And I think that's what's really special is just goes back to when a family says, hey, what can I do to help? Because I know as we grow, I know that those families will be at functions that we throw, or whatever that might be. But that give and take, that we're not here, you're here. We're on the same playing field with each other, and we're helping each other, which I think is just really a cool dynamic to see when you watch the kids play with each other. So I think just seeing that and how they when we go meet families and they come with us, just those relationships that are built with them, as well as like how we build relationships with people.
I would say like it's the thing that makes me the most proud about the Rise Above Foundation is involving our kids, right? Yeah. Seeing Nellie, our daughter, she's this, not to brag about her, but she is the sweetest little girl in the world. And there are oftentimes, like just randomly throughout the week, she'll ask about a kid that we met through this, right? How's so-and-so doing? When can I see so-and-so? And that is the impact that we want to make, right? We hope they're feeling the same way. When can I see Nellie? Or when can I see Ryan or Paige? Right? Those things, because that is what's going to keep this mission going forward, right? At one point, Paige and I aren't going to be here anymore, but we want Nellie to take this forward. We want Andrew, little Andrew, to take this forward. And I think the best way we can have that happen is by showing them and leading that direction.
You brought up two amazing things in your conversation around this. So the first being, when it comes to young people, it's not just about telling them; it's about modeling them and getting them involved and getting them bought in and invested at a younger age, so that when they get older, it's not like, well, we're trying to pigeonhole this in the midst of sports and music and all these other things that are occupying or vying for time. So that's really cool to see. Then also, the idea of something outliving you, and that the fact that we're just kind of temporary stewards of this, and then we get to hand it over to somebody, that's so rare to see, but so powerful in thinking about how an organization, an agency, a community really lives on, and we're just kind of caretakers of it for a moment. That's really great to hear as part of the founding principles of the Rise Above Foundation.
Yeah, I can't really take a lot of credit for that, or Paige can either. I mean, I think that's just something that we learned, right? Our parents, our families are.
I was just thinking the same thing.
They've paved the path.
Yeah.
And now all we got to do is follow the things that they taught us, that we learned, and just keep doing it, right? So it can just continuously go forward from there.
It's fantastic. So you brought out a little bit of the process when you said, we go and make an initial, visit or so. What does the general process look like for when the Rise Above Foundation gets involved with the family?
Yeah, so usually what we do is finding the family could be through outreach, could be through a family that we've helped and they know of somebody that needs help. And then generally from there, it's about understanding what is happening and where can we help.
The needs.
Right. So where can we step in and help out just to bring a smile to the face, or just to be able to provide something, again, that would make them happy, or how can we just make an impact, right? And I think once we do that, I typically will outreach to that person and then ask, what does the family like? What is this? What is that? So you get to know a little bit more about them. And I think what's really great is we all go to the drop-off or to the original meeting. And if not all of us can make it, then whoever can make it goes. But the people that go there, whether it's Andrew and Allison or Ryan and myself or whoever's there that day, you gather more information through being there with them. So you
can continuously do that going forward.
Right. And I think that's what's really cool is, Ryan may ask a question and he's picking up on stuff, or when you go into their house, taking a look around, because I found sometimes they don't even know what they want when you're first talking with them, or what do you like, or what is this. They're so focused on whether it's their kid or the person who has the need. But then when you take a look around and you see, okay, so this is what they like, so you get to know them a little bit more.
And that goes along with the whole mission, right? We might be going over to someone's house with the intention of a drop-off for a child or a mother or a father or a brother, sister, whomever it may be. But when we're there, we don't want to just make an impact on that person. We want to make an impact on a whole family. So finding the things that maybe the dad has a great interest in, or mom, or son, daughter, whomever it may be, and picking up on that, and then just, again, paying that forward, like not letting any little conversation, every conversation matters, right? So when people tell you something, like listen to them, actually hear it, and then act on it, right? And I think that's an important thing.
Yeah, that really highlights an issue that when it comes to charity that is a hot button issue around, like, well, do you do it simply to say that you did something, and it's like, hey, here's my old coat, or here's what I can have left over, or do you really pay attention to the needs of those that you're really wanting to address? Are you doing it for yourself, or are you doing it to really make an impact and address what you're able to do? I mean, obviously you can't walk into a family where a loved one is struggling with cancer and say, I'm just going to take the cancer away.
Right.
But you can provide something that is actually going to be valued and useful for them, as opposed to just something.
Right.
To go along with that, I think the most valuable thing that I picked up through this and just all our experiences in life is the most valuable thing you can give someone is that shoulder to lean on, that ear to listen, that smile, right? All the things that you can give people are great, and they're very helpful, but I think just having those simple things right? Actually looking at someone when they're speaking and hearing them and giving them a hug and checking in. Like Paige does a great job with just consistently checking in on these families, and that's just a big part of the mission.
That's great. So how is the Rise Above Foundation funded right now?
Straight out of pocket.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We, myself, Paige, Andrew, and Allison have been funding it out of our pocket, which I think kind of explains how important this is to us. We're in the process, the late stages of our getting a 501c3 designation, so that will be really nice because then we can make more of an impact on people and do things and all the fun stuff that we're looking forward to. But right now it's just out of our pockets.
Wow. Well, you have a lot of skin in the game here. I mean, this is really a labor of love and mission. And I guess this gets at one big question that I just find fascinating, and really it was the inspiration around me wanting to talk to you, is you guys saw a need and were willing to step up and to do something. What would you say to somebody that maybe sees a need but we're just conditioned to, okay, well, that's just how it is, and to dismiss it? What would you say to somebody who maybe is feeling a little bit of tugging on themselves but is unsure of whether or not they should respond?
Action removes anxiety.
Okay.
Right? Take action on things. Anxiety disappears. So if you're feeling that little tug or nervousness about doing something, understand, how nice would it be if someone did something for you? And then ultimately, one thing that I take from this whole mission is I like doing nice things for people, and I like having great conversations and all that stuff, because selfishly, it makes me feel great. So what I've learned is when I do, or when I'm a part of something bigger than me and helping someone or whatever it may be, I get a lot of gratitude. I get a lot of reward out of it, because that's a lasting impact that I have for the rest of my life. Might not remember what we've bought someone or this or that, but I do remember the moments. I do remember how we feel.
Right. And I would say, too, if you just feel lost in where to even take action, just kind of look around your community. Where can you volunteer? Where can you get an understanding of maybe volunteering at different organizations? Because then you'll start to get an understanding of maybe what direct field do you want to stick more in, or do you want to start something on your own? And I think that goes back to, again, the families that we grew up in, paying homage to our parents who instilled, you just always give something to somebody, right? You always want to make their day as happy as you can make their day. And if you feel just kind of like how we all felt that tug, you're going to find a way. But if you don't know what that way is, just go through, maybe different volunteer options and see what you might like to fall into then.
Yeah, fantastic. You guys are like a walking billboard for what they say, in regards to if somebody's struggling with depression, or if they're struggling with another level of trying to get involved, or just seeing life in a kind of through a gray lens of saying, hey, get out of your head, go on out, serve somebody, go get involved there. You guys really model that exceptionally well. That's
Thank
fantastic.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's beautiful. It's something to inspire others as well, whether it's to get involved with the Rise Above Foundation, which I want to ask about in just a moment, or to just, like you said, see what's going on in your community and get involved in a meaningful way. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So to go back to the Rise Above Foundation, how is it that people can get involved, or can refer people on, or just get in contact with you in regards to finding out more?
You can contact us through email, through our Facebook pages. That's really how we get a lot of things other than referrals. Right?
Yeah, I would say Facebook page is definitely where we're probably going to be hitting that a little bit harder as soon as we get that 501c3, because that's when we can really start taking action and moving forward a little bit quicker. So that would be generally, or just obviously word of mouth. But yeah, if you're trying to find a direct way to get to us, that Facebook page, we're all on there, so we see any messages that come in, comments, things like that. So.
And on Facebook, what should they look to try to find? Would it be the Rise Above Foundation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you mentioned an email. What's the email?
So that is the Rise Above Foundation at gmail.com.
Okay, great. And you said that it's supported right now largely through you guys and your personal endeavors, which I know are Southside Knockout, so I'm sure people can look up through there to find more ways to get involved in that community,
Absolutely.
Right.
as well as to kind of indirectly support the Rise Up Above Foundation.
For
And
sure.
that is, we try to carry the same message and the same mission with Southside Knockout as we do with Rise Above, right?
That's fantastic, and I've seen that at work as I go there and see you guys, Karen and Coach Derek and Ryan, telling me I can do it. It's fantastic, so I appreciate that. So one last thing that I'd like to ask, if there is one thing that you could share with somebody that might be watching right now, just either curious or wanting to know more, or that you would want to say to inspire them to get involved or to do something, make a positive impact in the community, what is it that you'd want to share with?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts really small. I think it's really, not to, go off of a corny movie, but Patch Adams, he had that experiment where he saw how fast he could make somebody smile, right? And I think if you notice that you're wanting to do that for people, start small, write your loved ones a card and start within your own community, and then see if you want to outreach that even more. And if you want to outreach it even more, then how Ryan said, just take action. Because the worst thing that's going to happen, I mean, you're helping somebody. Maybe awkward at first because you don't know anybody in the organization, or maybe, you're all alone in it and nobody wants to do it with you. But ultimately, you're going to find people who are like-minded like you, so it's going to make you feel comfortable pretty quickly once you, get involved with it. And I think it's just taking action and keep taking action. We're not Mother Teresa, so, it would be great to strive to be her, but I think it's one of those things of, just trying to make those small impacts and realize how big a small impact can be, and just keep making those little impacts.
Just love to hear your story, love to hear the way that you're taking this initiative and really embodying it in what you're doing. And I hope that it's an inspiration for others, and that you feel that as well. And looking forward to seeing what the future has in store for the Rise Above Foundation, and for you and your family, and for everybody involved. So thanks so much for sharing that today. I have no doubt that people are going to come away having heard a message that inspires them to do something, to get involved, whether it's with the Rise Above Foundation or in another way making a positive impact. I think that's the message that I loved hearing and knowing was behind here, and really am thankful that you guys are willing to share it with others. So
We appreciate you having us.
Yeah, we thank you for your time.
thanks. Well, and thank you for joining us this month on the Community Bridge program. Again, I hope you consider getting involved with the Rise Above Foundation or another way in your community. And until next time, God bless.